Okay, I think I may be live. Let's see here. It appears that I'm live. And let me go back over. I don't want that. I want solo shot. I don't want preview mode. There we go. Hello everyone, Cliff Ravenscraft here, and I believe that I am streaming live. I'd like to test out Zoom integration with Ecamm Live. I know that I have the ability to bring in live participants via Zoom, and I'd like to check that out now. So what I've done is I've created a URL over at cliffravenscraft.com/join. And if you go to cliffravenscraft.com/join, there should be a little button for you that says join live session. So if you are watching this, please consider doing that. I'm going to sit here for as long as it takes for me to randomly find somebody who happens along this live stream. I don't know where all I'm streaming right now because I did not schedule this. Normally, I would actually schedule it even 15 minutes in advance and then just go live. But let's go over to linkedin.com and see if there's any indication at all that I am live on LinkedIn. And it appears that I am. And it does actually have, please help me test out live Zoom interaction with Ecamm Live. Simply join me on Zoom via this link found at, and that does take you to the place where you can click the button. So that's good to see that I am live on LinkedIn. Now, can I click on that? Does it take me to a page? Yes, it does. So there I am. Okay, so we're good there. And my audio is coming through. Yep. Okay, so I am live on LinkedIn. I should also be live on YouTube. So we're going to go over to YouTube. We'll go to my channel and we will go over to live. I am live now. I need help testing Zoom, it says. And I think the description of the video on YouTube has the link to join as well. You go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. Let's see here. Hide meeting. This is my Zoom window. I have so many windows here. Let's see. What is this one? I don't want to do that. Back to live. Okay, so back to live. Let's close this window for just a bit. Fathom wants to record everything as well, it looks like. What is this window? Is this, okay, so this window, I'm going to hit cancel recording on the Zoom or on the Fathom. Cliff, if you'd like to switch to a different speaker or microphone, let's see what you got for that. MacBook Pro microphone. Oh my gosh, that would be terrible. Let's give you the Rodecaster 2 chat. And let's also, oh boy, I don't know how. Okay, Ecamm Live output. Maybe that is the right speaker there. Is there an Ecamm Live input? Okay, I just muted. Loom/audio device, Rodecaster main stereo. Okay. Same as your system. Okay, so we've got that going. Let's see, video, Ecamm Live output. Okay, so I'm sending out to Zoom. What is there? All right. Now, am I doing this live also on Facebook? So we'll see if anybody is over here on Facebook. Meta. Okay, so I am there. I'm live on Facebook. So, okay, I am there. I'm live on 3 different platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I just want to sit here until somebody comes along and is willing to help me by going to cliffravenscraft.com/join and joining me for a Zoom session, because what I'd like to do is see if how easy it is to bring people who are on a Zoom call into Ecamm Live. I am thinking about hosting a Ask Me Anything session today from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Something that is akin to what I used to do with Clubhouse, where I'd host these rooms that they were titled Ask Me Anything, or How May I Serve You? Ask Me Anything. That's what they were titled. And I haven't done anything like that in quite some time, and that's exactly what I want to do. But I'd like the live call-in feature and functionality to join me on a Zoom call, to pop in. And so I know that Ecamm Live has had the ability to bring in Zoom participants for quite some time. There's Jason Arnold out there on YouTube. So I just want to check that out. So if anybody is watching live and you've got a moment to join me on a Zoom session to test this out, to see if I can put you and I side by side up on a screen on Ecamm Live, that would be awesome. No pressure for anyone individually, but that's what I'm here to do, to see if I can get somebody to pop into the Zoom. So you go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. And there's a button there that will get you into this Zoom call. I really miss those Clubhouse days. I miss showing up on a regular basis, just throwing a room out there, and as people were walking up and down the virtual hallway of Clubhouse, they would see a room titled How May I Serve You? Ask Me Anything. I loved it when many of those people had no idea who I even was. They would pop in. In the early days, I would sit there by myself for a significant amount of time before the first person would pop into the room and then come up on stage and interact with me. And then as people were up on stage interacting with me and other people came in and they witnessed what was happening, that's when all of a sudden other people are like, hey, I'm going to stick around and just observe this for a while. And those observers eventually over time became participants. And this was a growing thing. It was a magical time back during the shelter-in-place days of the pandemic. And it really opened up for me something that I enjoy doing. And I'm looking to recreate some of that magic, some of the elements of what happened in that space. And I don't think that Clubhouse is the place to do it today. I happen to have the ability to stream live on these platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Of course, I could just host Zoom calls and open it up, just schedule it from 3:30 to 5 and don't do anything live streamed, just invite people to come. I could do it that way. The reason why I am contemplating this is due to the fact that I'm obviously, if I announce it ahead of time, people can choose whether or not to block out the time to come and join and all this other stuff. But right now, I would imagine there's at least one or two people. Actually, there's 5 people who are just here. And a matter of fact, I just saw somebody joining. So let's see here. I think we might have our first participant. So Brett, I see that you're here. Hello, Brett. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just turning off my LinkedIn because I can hear you in the background, but here I am.
Sounds good. Now, here's the situation. I am hearing you through my MacBook. So, but if I tap on this, you should be hearing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. I just need to figure out, okay, so if I go to audio and I go to, okay, select a speaker, I want to go to Rodecaster 2 chat. There we go. So say something now to me, Brett.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go.
Testing.
And here comes Jason Croft. Jason, I think you are muted, my friend. Thank you for joining in. Now, the thing is we currently have me on the screen. I am hearing you. Jason, can you say something? Let me hear your audio coming through.
Hello.
Sweet. Thank you for that. Now the question is how on earth do I bring Zoom people into the live stream? So let's see if I can do that. So there's a little plus icon for Jason, and there's a plus icon for Brett. And so there you go. And Jason and I are a little bit off center there, but there we go. So now, and you guys are able to see, so you guys can actually see what you look like on my Ecamm live stream. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what replaces
right.
your window. Yeah.
Sweet. So Brett, can you hear Jason?
Yes.
Excellent. And that's because you guys are primarily focused on Zoom. And Jason, you can hear Brett?
Correct.
And you guys are both hearing me. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go over to LinkedIn and I'm going to unmute. Oh, wow. That LinkedIn's way behind. Let me hit refresh on that and see how far behind.
In so many ways.
Okay. So what I just heard for just a second there, Jason, when you said correct, it's like I heard your voice twice for some reason. So what I'd like to know is, can you just tell me about the weather for a little bit? And I just want to confirm that that's the issue.
Absolutely. I'm in Colorado here, so it is a beautiful, lovely, cool morning, even though it's late June. It is fantastic here and why I moved here.
Okay, pause there for a second. I'm going to unmute. Yep. This is why we do testing, right? Guys, thank you so much for this. This means a lot to me that you would randomly just pull in and join the live stream to help me test this. So if that's
of course, it's the beard, Cliff. It's the beard drew me in. I was like, I gotta talk to Cliff and that new beard. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is surprising. There's a guy that I met in San Diego social media marketing world, and we chatted. I was completely clean shaven then. And then a week after San Diego, we did a 1-hour connect call, and we had a really deep conversation one-on-one. And then since then we hadn't chatted, but he was at an event in Lima, Ohio last week. And I went, and we're sitting there having a conversation in a group of people, and he keeps looking at me, but he doesn't say anything and all this other stuff until I finally say something that refers to something that we talked about in our one-on-one. He goes, "Oh my gosh, you're Cliff Ravenscraft." It was hilarious. He didn't recognize me because of the beard.
That's a real Superman Clark Kent. Just the glasses. It's all it took. And you were disguised.
All right. So microphone, same as system virtual mic. Let's see if I fix this. Okay, I just fixed the microphone. Can you still hear me through this?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Now, let's get Brett in here. Brett, let's tell me about the weather in your part of town.
Well, I'm in Copenhagen, Denmark, and as is famous for Copenhagen, Denmark, it's a little cool, and every hour or so it rains like a monsoon, and then the sun comes out and it's beautiful again. Welcome to Denmark. And where the sun comes up in the summertime at about 4 a.m. and goes down at about 11 p.m.
Awesome. All right, let's see how this turned out. Yeah, we're still getting the echo. So let's see here. Same as system, microphone, speaker is the Rodecaster. Okay, same as system, microphone, Zoom, virtual mic. I think that's going to be fine. I think it may be under the audio settings of Zoom. So let's go here and find out. Brett, say hello to me, and I'll see if there's any other place where your audio is coming up.
Hello, check 1 2, check 1. Hello.
Okay. So I do see okay, so here's the situation. When I talk, my audio is going to the Rodecaster Pro main stereo, and when you talk, you are actually a Zoom guest. Your audio as a Zoom guest is going out to Ecamm, but my Rodecaster Pro 2 is also going out to ZoomCam. So my question is there a way, Zoom audio device? Let's do Zoom audio device. Oh, let's try Zoom Pro 2 chat. Can you hear me now? Okay, so I'm Zoom Pro 2 chat. Let's go back over here and Jason, say hello to me.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, I think I fixed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until we get that. Oh, let's try. Yes, we have solved it. We have solved the issue. So now let me do real quickly here. I've got to do some screen captures on these audio settings. So we'll just do Shift Command 4. Sound levels here need to be there. So I'm going to save that screen capture, which is going to be Ecamm. Why doesn't that have a JPEG extension? Is that a JPEG image? I don't know what image it is. All right, let's just do Ecamm audio. And then let's go over to Zoom and do some screen captures here because those are working. And we will do that. And this is Zoom Ecamm audio. All right, so with that, check it out. The three of us now are here. Let me ask you this, guys. What are you most excited about that you're working on? I'll start with Jason first. Jason, what's new in your world? What are you most excited about? And is there any way that I can be of any support or encouragement to you?
In the middle of writing a book called Market Gravity. Excited about that. Both the process of having that book, but also working through the whole concepts of it is probably just as valuable in going through. So that's something new in my world.
Marketing Gravity?
Market Gravity.
Market Gravity. And who's the intended audience for the book, and what's the main takeaway that you hope they get from it?
So the ideal person is expert, coach, consultant. They've been doing this. They just still feel overlooked, right? It's that transformation to go from an overlooked expert into more of a visible leader in the right field, in their little orbit there.
Cool. I love it. And then, Brett, what about you? What's exciting in your world today? What are you most excited about creating? What makes your soul sing today?
Well, as I always do, I'm traveling. I live in the US. I'm Australian. Culture is what I do. I teach, and I hope to inspire people to recognise the value in the differences that we have. So, taken on a new role just recently in order to do that and apply that across many, many different businesses around the world with people that inspiring and doing the same thing as I'm doing. So that's what we're doing.
I love it. Sweet. Well, I really appreciate you guys doing this today. The one thing that I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I just want to see where is the window that allows me to adjust things. So this is something where I don't know enough about Ecamm. I've been an Ecamm paid person since the day when it was a one-off purchase, and then they gave me this unbelievable discount as a lifetime member for things, but I don't know how to change the window up. That's something that I might want to play with. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take here's the interesting thing. I wonder what would happen if I do this. If I take Brett out for just a moment. So there's Jason and I. So it looks like it's going to what happened? Oh, okay. I subtracted you and added you. So here's something I'm curious about. Let's take both of you off for just a moment. And what I'm going to ask Jason is if you will say something, and I'm wondering if the audio will still come through, even if I don't have you on. So if you could say hello.
Hello, hello. Check 1, 2. Hello, hello.
All right. Let's see if that works. Okay, so the audio still comes through. All right, so that's good to know. So Zoom audio, whatever's coming in from Zoom is actually going to be broadcast out onto the live stream. That's good to know. It seems to me that these windows are going to automatically size to the right proportion. Most of the time, I'm going to bring people up, I'd say, one at a time. It looks like somebody else has just joined us, so let's see who this is. I just have an R here on the screen. I don't actually have a name underneath it, so I'm not sure who that is. Oh, there
I see Richard.
It's Richard. Okay. So, Richard, are you there? And if so, you can unmute yourself or put yourself on camera, and we can bring you up here on the screen. And if you don't have camera, you could just hit unmute and say hello.
Cliff.
Yes,
Richard Marcotte. How you doing?
Hey, Richard. Never been better. It gets better every single minute of the day. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I saw you on the Facebook and sitting here in my new dwellings in Eugene, Oregon, and decided
Nice.
I'd say hi.
Did you recently move to Oregon?
Yeah, back in September. Christy got a really great new job here. She's a director of clinical operations for the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute. So she's in charge of all the nurses and just doing fantastic. So, you know,
That's awesome.
for 30 years, she made the leap around for me doing my airline thing. So it was time to pay back. So
Are you still able to do the airline thing from Oregon?
no, I left Southwest and sitting kind of here doing nothing, just a couple months now. So I'm trying to figure out what my next steps are with I tell people with positivity and gratitude. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Figuring out my next steps. So good to be here. I'm trying to figure out the camera here. So
no
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to host a live today. It's going to be like my old Clubhouse days. Remember when I used to host those How May I Serve You? Ask Me Anythings?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to recreate that as I'm live streaming, and then I'll take people in up on one at a time up on the live stream, see if I can't recreate some of the magic that used to exist there. I kind of miss those days.
Very good.
Well, thank you, Richard. Brett, thank you for popping in here. And you said you're currently in Denmark. Is that where you're at right now?
I am in Denmark, yes, on a bit of a business trip and a side trip from our home in Poland, which I have another place in Poland as well. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm honored that you took the time, all three of you. Jason, thank you so much as well. If people are, when is your book going to come out?
In July.
So it's coming out in a couple weeks. Sweet. And is it available for pre-order anywhere?
Not yet. Hopefully at the end of this week, I'll have that all set up on Amazon.
Where should people go if they want to contact you about it?
LinkedIn's a great spot.
Jason
Find my
Croft.
profile there. Yes,
right.
the Jason Croft on LinkedIn there, and
So it's
me.
LinkedIn/in/the Jason Croft.
That is it.
There we go. Got it. All right.
I
Well,
appreciate
guys,
it.
thank you so much. I think I know enough about this to at least pretend like I know what I'm doing from 3:30 to 5 today. So now, what's that?
Do you have do you have the scene, any scenes set up or anything like that? Is that what you're trying to?
I'm gonna try to figure that out next.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to keep anybody longer. Well, of course, you guys. It's not like you guys just randomly showed up. Based upon my request. But yeah, if you want to help me, so I have the scene window here, and what do I do? Just hit a plus sign. So there's a new scene. And then how do I choose what to put in it?
Let's see. I've got mine. I've got all these I just did forever ago.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to put Cliff, and it's going to be called Cliff Bubble Person. So in here, what I want to do is in this scene, I want to put me. So there's me. The thing is I want guest 2. I don't want. So is there, okay, so that brings it to only guest 2 or guest 1. I saw some things where you could put like overlays on top of it.
Yeah, that's the main thing I do with them. I'll position. That's what because I'll do like the overlays with the cutout, create those in Photoshop, bring those in, and then usually position my windows or like the video windows around them.
See, and I'm not so much worried. I'm not so concerned about overlays as much as I want to. Maybe can I drag and drop? Oh, look at that! I just did drag and drop. Check that out. Now I feel fancy. Oh, wow! Look at me.
That's the juice. That's
right
the stuff
there.
right there.
Right. Hold on. Look
there we
at
go.
that. Oh, okay.
That's all you need. Now you're gonna look like
this is the real.
You've been doing this forever.
I've been doing I knew exactly what I was doing all along.
That's right. Like, yeah.
This is cool. Hold on. Check these guys, man. This is amazing. Yeah, that's actually very cool. And I think I saw where I can actually do like, so that's wide 16. I could do a square, and then I could do a circle.
Do a whole Brady Bunch thing.
Yeah, we could.
Exactly.
We could do Brady Bunch. I could do a squircle. I don't even know what a squircle is, but I can assume now.
Is that like a spork?
A spork, yeah. But this is cool. I like this. So
that's
yeah. And I guess I could probably come up with. I don't know if I want to play around with overlays all that much, but so now
that's clean right there.
Yeah, this is pretty clean, and it looks good. The one thing I can think of is it might be nice to put like a little lower third that says, "How may I serve you? Ask me anything. Go to cliffravenscraft.com/join to join live." That I could see myself potentially doing that. But so one of the things that I'm noticing here is this is scene. So let me just see if that saved this as scene 2. So if I go here, this is my solo shot. I click the play button. Oh, that's weird. So since you guys were there before, maybe is why that's there. So if I click play here, there we go. So there's solo shot. And you know what? I actually have the Stream Deck, so I can actually program my Stream Deck to have these different things.
So maybe is that solo shot set as a scene?
Yeah, this solo shot is the first scene right here. This is my solo shot, and then when I want to bring up the bubbles, I can do that. And yeah, I'm liking this a lot. This is cool. I'm glad you brought that up, Jason, because I would have forgot all about it.
Yeah, that
Delete.
looks sure. I think text will be pretty darn easy, whether you
Yeah.
do a graphic and bring it in or text right in there.
Yeah, they have text right in, and but I think more than anything, I'll probably just overlay like an image, because if I'm not mistaken, I think I can go. So if I have, let's go to social images. I have a bunch of like, let me just find like a social. Okay, so let's do. I'm just going to drag this over top of here. So and then I can easily take any image. And oh, that's weird. It only lets you do. But anyway, I can make a 16:9 image where the image is transparent at the top and just has the lower third.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that works. And then
Is for the live, so you're going out of Ecamm
for the what?
to for the live that you're doing, like to stream. What are you?
Yeah, I'm live streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook from Ecamm Live on my MacBook.
Okay, you're direct out of. Perfect. Okay, you're direct out
and
of that.
Ecamm Live has its own connection to the Zoom call.
Right.
Which is, I must say, it's pretty wild. Oh, look at this! I can make my transparent right there.
Oh, what?
What?
2, 3.
Crunch. All right, more options. So capacity, rotation. Oh, check that out. I can rotate it.
Well, what I like too, because I was checking the live stream. Oh, that's funny. It's auto captioning you right now. I like that it doesn't have the names.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Zoom, that are in Zoom. They're not being broadcast, which is great.
I think they
It just
can
looks
be.
cleaner.
I think it's possible to do that. I just don't. I just
They're just
haven't-
ugly. So I like. It's nice that they don't default to that.
Corner radius. Huh. Interesting. Very cool. So yeah, I can easily I can figure out how to do some of this live on the fly. I'm sure if I wanted to, and as I go through time, I can definitely play around with presetting some things over time, based upon my preferences. Let's see. Bob is in Facebook chat, and oh, I forgot I can do this. It's been a while. Bob says, I've been exploring OBS, much like Ecamm. Very cool. Thank you, Bob. Great to hear from you out there. And by the way, you guys are on Zoom, so do you see that pretty clearly?
Yeah, the Facebook that you brought up.
Yeah, the Facebook comment.
Mm-hmm. I see it in here. Yeah, and on the live. Looks good.
And then there's Jason. Jason Arnold said hi, Cliff, or hey, Cliff, a while back. So hello, Jason. And let's see here. I can close that. And
it's just
let's see
that
here.
that auto captioning kind of lays over the top of it, though. So on Facebook anyway.
Oh, so there's auto captioning happening on Facebook. Okay? I see that.
And I think that's like it's almost. I don't know if you have control on yours, but I have to.
Oh, so there's auto captioning happening on Facebook. Okay, so you should be able to hit CC, the CC, and turn that off. If
that's so funny. I did turn it off, and it's still going. That's
really
interesting. Yeah,
it really wants you to know what we're saying.
I know. Oh, I wonder if it's because it looks like if I have the stream muted.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've turned off captions, it brings it back up.
Oh, okay, because it knows that you're muted. This is cool. I got to tell you, I really do love how easy this was to bring in Zoom participants. So obviously, like I said, we've got the audio squared away. I was sending the non-mix minus back into the live stream. So it was getting you guys combined with my voice, which is great in some scenarios and not so great in others. So we've got that figured out. But I love that I can just drag and drop and put people over wherever. I can do all sorts of stuff here. I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun to have that kind of flexibility.
Oh yeah, all of a sudden you want 3 people, 4 people.
Yeah. And it's like, and I could think about things to do. Like what I could do is if somebody was on by audio only, when I'm adding them, I could just put them and just make them a little circle or whatever, just to indicate that they're there.
Now, is it easy for you to go from, I bet this would have to be its own scene to go from like, okay, there's 3 people I want to bring up. I want to bring us all up into 4 of those boxes, all the same, right? I wonder how
that would be easy
simple.
as long as I set it up. So what I could do is I could create another scene and build it that way with the 4 boxes there. But it would be very dependent, I think, on who are the what is the order of the participant as they join the Zoom call, because I think it throws it in Zoom participant 1. I don't know. I'm really making stuff up at this point. It could be it could be doing it in some other fashion. So, but at least now, I mean, obviously, we're streaming live. People are out there browsing the internet and came across this. Some of you, 3 of you, saw the message as I'm doing this test and come visit me, cliffravenscraft.com/join. And you guys came in and we're sitting here having this chat, and of course it's all tech right now, but later this afternoon, it's hopefully going to be some very cool dialogue about some things that are meaningful to people and stuff like that. And this is kind of the vision of what I thought. It's like, man, this is going to be taking what I used to do on Clubhouse, and I want to take it kind of to that next level, have the video participation. And I was thinking about just hosting a live Ask Me Anything on a Zoom and just sending a broadcast out to my email audience and sending a couple social posts that says, join me live at this day, this time. Here's the link, whatever, or click to register or whatever, and then go live. But what I really loved about the Clubhouse experience back when everybody was on Clubhouse all day, every day, because that's the only thing we had available to us. What I loved about that is the random nature of just picking up somebody who just happens to open up an app. They're scrolling through and they see something that catches their interest. And chatting with you to here right now is exact. I mean, there was no email. Matter of fact, I didn't even go in and pre-schedule this live like I normally would. Even if I would go in and create an event 15 minutes that's going to start 15 minutes now, so that people would get those notifications for 15 minutes, and then I would go live. I didn't even do that. I just hit go live. Let's see if anybody is out there. And here you are, still engaging with me. Neither one of you has said, I'm going to bounce, Cliff. Glad we got it worked out. But we're still here engaging. It's like, this is what I want. It's like, I'm definitely going to I'm going to choose times. I'm going to send out emails, going to notify people that I'll be live. But even if I'm just here and have these random one-off connections that you guys weren't aware that I was going to be live, and here we are chatting, interacting, this is what I've been missing. Do
That's
any
fun
of you
stuff.
have any questions or anything you want to ask me before we wrap things up here?
I would just put that question back to you. Is anything I can help you with?
For me,
tech?
the big thing was just getting comfortable knowing that if I'm going to send out a blast email to all the people on my mailing list and put a notice out, am I going to be able to have people click a button and join me on Zoom and be able to do this? And you've helped me do that. So that was the biggest thing for me today.
Wonderful.
Brett, anything for you?
Very good. No, this is great. You know, I kind of loop in and out of doing this stuff depending on how busy I am and that kind of thing. So it grabbed my attention on LinkedIn. Actually, it was LinkedIn I was on, and I
Yeah.
just saw that. So yeah, yeah, and
So-
I was impressed by the beard as well.
So basically my call to action is come check out the beard.
Check out the beard.
Check out the beard. You know, I'm 52 years old, and this is the first time in my life I've ever grown out a beard beyond, 3 or 4 days gone without shaving or whatever. So,
Nice. Suit you.
yeah, thank you. Oh,
Good.
wait, we
All
got somebody that's joining. I don't want to take anybody who. By the way, you guys can pop out anytime. You don't have to stick
I
around.
am gonna pop out because I need
All
to
right.
jump.
Yeah,
This is a
good to
blast.
see you,
Good to
Cliff.
see you.
All right,
Cheers.
cool. Well, you guys, thank you so much, and we'll chat
Yes.
again soon.
Yes.
Thirdly.
All right, so we've got Robert here. Robert, how are you? Let's see here if I can get. Let me see if I can get you up on the screen. There we go. Robert,
I'm doing good. How are you?
I have never been better. It gets better every minute of the day. Thank you for joining me. I'm testing out Ecamm Live, and how did you discover me? Which platform were you scrolling?
LinkedIn.
Okay, great. Cool. And what's going on in your world? What are you most excited about today?
Just trying to make a difference in people's lives who are living with diabetes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how's that going? Are you finding opportunities and avenues to do that? And
You know what? I've been at this for about 3 decades, and yeah, I think it's going great.
great. And what avenues? How do you show up with that kind of help and assistance to
I show up in consulting for pharmaceutical companies. I help them put a friendly face on a horrible situation. Do a lot of public speaking, have a podcast, newsletters, social media interaction, and private coaching.
Great. And Robert, what's your last name?
Lewis, Lewis,
All right. And
thehappydiabetic.com.
there we go. That's where I was going next. Let me just pull it up here. The Happy Diabetic.
Or happydiabetic.com, actually.
So it's not it's happydiabetic.com. There you are. Happydiabetic.com. And you've been doing this for 3 decades, and I see that you have a podcast as well. And
Yep. As a matter of fact, Cliff, when I was first getting into podcasts, your videos were some of the very first ones I'd ever watched. And I think that was like in 2019 or 17, actually.
Nice. So would those be the 8 video series that I did titled Learn How to Podcast?
I don't remember, Cliff. It
I
could have very well been.
Well, if they were, was it a series of videos that walked you through?
I think
step
it
by
was,
step?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there are a number of people who I talked to, and I sit there and I said, I've helped more than 40,000 people successfully launch a podcast. And they're like, they question that. They're like,
Yeah.
seriously, that's a lot of people. I said, well, personally, through my own coaching, one-on-one, or through my group training program, it's more like 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Yeah.
But I created this 8 video series titled Learn How to Podcast. And the URL used to be learnhowtopodcast.com. That just takes you to my main website today. But it was 8 videos in a single blog post. It required no registration of email. And I think it was the first 6 videos had over 40,000 views per video. And then I
Wow.
think it dropped down to like 3,800 on the optional videos that
Sure.
were
Sure.
required. But yeah, so it sounds to me like that was probably what helped you out back in the day.
I think it was. Yeah. No doubt.
There's one thing that if there's one thing I wish I would have done differently is to put the first 2 videos out just like I did and say, if you'd like the remaining 6 videos, please enter your name and email address and you'll get those for free as well.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't do it. It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I did put a course up this year, or actually the end of last year, that is available on my website. I'm just really trying to figure out how to get some traction on that.
Okay. So are you asking for some thoughts and some feedback on that?
Well, I'm just throwing it out for whatever it's worth. It's a paid course, highly produced, really excellent quality. It's called the Happy Diabetic Cooking Academy, and yeah.
So the way that I've been advising many people with their online businesses and products and services over the years, the question I have for you is, what made you decide to create the course in the first place?
I have been doing tons of live events
Okay.
and people asking me for, either private coaching or more consulting and this kind of thing. And so I thought, well, if I could produce a cooking academy where they could subscribe, actually purchase the courses with all the recipes and the handouts and everything, it could be a good way to get information out. I was also in my brain thinking, how can I market this to diabetic educators and hospitals looking for content who have diabetic clubs, so to speak, that meet once a month?
All right. So you gave me two different answers for what the purpose of this is.
Only two?
So the first thing that I have, what I really honed in on is, I said, why did you create this course in the first place? And you said, well, I went and did a lot of speaking and many people were asking me for, and then you said one-on-one coaching. And did you say something else? Or was it only one-on-one coaching?
Well, yeah, that was about it. Yes.
Okay. So my question for you is, how many people did you say, sure, I'll do one-on-one coaching with you? How many people did you coach one-on-one to find out exactly what it is that they wanted?
Yeah, not enough.
Then it will be very challenging for this course to meet anyone's needs because you don't yet know what those needs are.
Right.
This is something that I have seen over and over again. And I live in a world where most of my peers are out there, selling big courses and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things. It's like, here's how you can really create some passive revenue, take something and publish it online. My own experience with selling courses, bless you, no worries. My own experience with selling courses, the ones that truly succeed, either for myself or the people that I know, it's people who have, like you, gone out, created content, you've shown up, people come to know you, eventually they come to like and trust you, and they're willing to ask you questions about the things that are challenging them. Mm-hmm. And so when you get a group, I want you to imagine a different scenario. So let's pretend that you have not created any course yet, but for the last 3 decades, you've been speaking on stages and people come up to you afterward and say, hey, I've got a lot of questions. Is there any way I can hire you as a coach to help me through some of my issues?
Yeah.
And let's just say that you say, you know what? I only have room to take on 2 clients each month. And here's what I require. I require that you're this committed and it's this amount of money and this is how much time, effort, and energy we're going to co-effort together. This is what it looks like. And let's just say for 6 months to a year, you bring on 2 new clients, very high paid, and they're very committed. And what you do is you learn what are their hangups, what are their biggest issues, what are their greatest needs, what do they keep coming to the call with, session after session after session. Where do they get hung up? What's on the top of their mind? What are their greatest struggles? What are the pains? And when you get in and you're actually finding out what these people know, see that you and I and every expert out there, we have what's called the curse of the familiar. We have all of these things that we know are important. We wish, man, if I were in your shoes, this is what I wish you would know. And I'm just going to throw all of this into a course. When in reality, those people aren't even in a position to ask those type of questions. They've got other issues that are more pertinent to them.
Right.
And so that's when somebody's coming to you and saying, wow, I wish you were available one-on-one so I could ask you very specifically the type of questions that I have. Now, let me give you the perfect example of how this worked out for me. So back in my podcast Answer Man days, I used to use a program called Audacity, and it was free. And I did it because I was in a position financially where I couldn't afford all the big heavy equipment and all these fancy software and stuff like that. So
Sure.
I used the free version. But when I started to I want to improve what I'm doing, I'm going to take this professionally. I'm going to take this seriously. I wanted to invest in better equipment and also better software. So I started using Adobe Audition. Well, in my podcast, I began speaking publicly about my use of Adobe Audition. Now, the thing is episodes before Adobe Audition sounded much different than episodes after Adobe Audition, noticeably. So guess what people said? Cliff, oh my gosh, could I hire you to teach me how to use Adobe Audition? I would have never thought of paying for such a ridiculous price for software until I heard the results. And now it's worth it. So not only am I willing to buy the software, would you help me learn how to use it? So I started talking about it in my podcast, and people asked me, can I hire you one-on-one? Now, here's what I did not do. I did not create a course teaching people how to use Adobe Audition. If I did, that course would have been very good information, but it would have been missing tons of elements. I'll explain to you what I mean. So what would happen is I'd get on my first one-on-one session. I think at the time I was charging $150 an hour, and it was a minimum of 1 hour. And I said, if you're a total novice to this software, it's going to take about 2 hours for me to walk you through and teach you all of this, and you'll have the recording afterwards. So what would happen is I would get on there for 2 hours and I would start teaching them. But they were like, wait a second, Cliff, what do you mean, I can't even remember some of the things. It's like, what you said, click on such and such. I don't know what such and such is. Can you describe to me what such and such is? I'll say, oh, okay, it's this panel over here and it does this thing. Okay. And so what I wasn't aware of is how much insider tech terminology that I was aware of that just seems natural to me, that where I'm actually trying to one-on-one teach them how to do something, and it's like I'm speaking a different language. And so in real time, I'm learning how my language is not meeting their needs. And so it's like, oh, well, let me explain. And so by the end of the 2 hours, they got what they paid for. And that's where the brilliance of the one-on-one experience comes from. So then what happened is I continued to talk about this. And one day, I want you to imagine about 3 2-hour sessions a week for 6 weeks. So that's 3 people every week for 6 weeks, 2 hours each, finding out what everybody's questions are. And and I will say this, by the 3rd or 4th or 5th time, I'm no longer just assuming they know what I mean. I am explaining what I mean when I say the phrase.
Sure.
And it's like, and I noticed that over time, less and less questions were coming up. It was just like, wow, this is amazing. This makes so much sense. And it made so much sense because I learned how to speak their language, somebody who doesn't know all of the insider jargon and the foundational things that I know. So I started speaking at a more foundational level of the beginner mind. And that helped me greatly. And then eventually one day, I actually had 4 2-hour coaching sessions. So from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, I did a 2-hour session teaching somebody how to do Adobe Audition. And then I think it was from 11:30 to 1:30, I did another session. I had a half an hour for lunch. I did a 2-hour session again. I had half an hour, and then I did another 2-hour session. I did 8 hours of teaching 4 different people in one day, and my weeks were getting booked teaching this one thing. And I'm like, if I never teach a single person how to use Adobe Audition again, that would be a dream come true.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I actually created, I didn't call it a course. I just said, I've got a tutorial. here's the situation. If you want me to teach you how to use Adobe Audition from scratch to where you're an absolute pro as far as the sound quality of your podcast, no longer will you have a 4 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 audio quality. You will have 10 out of 10 audio quality every single time. You will sound like the top ranked podcast in iTunes, which was the only real player in the day. This is the tutorial for you. Now, I've been teaching this for the last several months, and I charge $150 an hour, and it's an average of 2 hours. So it's $300 for me to teach this one-on-one. Now, I've taught this so many times that now I know exactly what to put in so that all of your questions are going to be answered ahead of time. So you could start, as you go through the tutorial, you could start writing down questions you have for me. And by the end of the tutorial, all of those questions will have been answered because I've done this so many times one-on-one. Here's the situation. On such and such day, I'm hosting a live webinar where I'm going to teach this. I'm not taking any questions, but for $100 in 2 hours, I'm going to teach everything you need to know. Yeah. And I'm going to record it so you can watch it over and over again as many times as you want. And so then I actually sold it as a live webinar, and I took the recording of it and made it available for purchase. Sure. I sold over $100,000 of that tutorial.
It's amazing.
Because there are a couple of key scenarios. Number one, my tutorial spoke to a real need. I didn't think, oh my gosh, I wish everybody knew about Adobe Audition. There's so many things that they don't know that's available. All these people using this free software, I wish I could convince them of the power of this thing that I know. And so what I did before I ever created the tutorial, I actually validated that people genuinely saw the need and desire for it. And I validated it not just with one person, but multiple people. And when it became so much that I just didn't want to teach this same thing over and over again, the only logical thing for me to do to continue to serve all the people who continued to want that knowledge from me was to give them a recording.
Interesting. So that turned out to be a really great strategy for you.
It did. And so I did that with 7 other topics. And then eventually I turned that into a 4-week podcasting course called Podcasting A to Z, where I said, hey, I'm going to share with you every tutorial that I have. And by the way, each of my tutorials, they range anywhere between $50 to $150. If you were to buy all of these tutorials, they're $800. The thing is none of them are going to answer your specific questions as far as what equipment, how to, if you've already have this microphone or this thing over here, you've got specific things for you. So you could buy all of my tutorials, and chances are you would still have some questions if you're a brand new podcaster. These one-off tutorials are meant for people who are already in it, and it answers all of the technical things related to a very specific thing. Now, I'm no longer available for one-on-one coaching these days. So what I did is I actually created a 4-week group training program called Podcasting A to Z. And I said, you're going to get all of my tutorials included. It was, by the way, it was a $2,000 course for 4 weeks. And you're going to get all of my tutorials. I'm going to recommend these tutorials to you in the order that you should watch them so that you're not overwhelmed. We're going to start with week 1. We're going to help you achieve this. We're going to help you achieve this. We're going to help you achieve this. Week 2, you're going to have all of the equipment that you know that you need to order so that by week 3, we can hook it all up and record. So I'm going to walk you through this entire process. You're going to do all of this through tutorials. However, if you happen to have any specific questions related to your specific situation, you're going to get unlimited access to ask me an unlimited number of questions for 4 weeks. You can ask those 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And for 4 weeks, I will answer every question you could possibly think to submit to me. My answers will be coming to you Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. But you can ask at any time. And so I would actually serve these people by answering all of their questions. Now,
Mhm.
same thing happened in the early days, the first 7 or 8 sessions of Podcasting A to Z with 20 students each. I had lots of questions. And again, there were tutorials that I'm like, I need to create a new tutorial because I'm getting this same question over and over again. I had not seen that before. But these people who are just getting started, they need this additional tutorial. So I would create
Mm.
that. And as soon as I created that tutorial, it began to eliminate the number of questions that were coming in from future
Yeah.
sessions, such that by let's just say the 17th or 18th time I've done this 4-week training session, there's almost no questions that came in, except one. Her name was Kay Colpit, and she was 78 years old, teaching herself how to launch a podcast through my tutorials. She specifically, and I still have this email it saved in my box, and it said this: Cliff, I sit down to watch your tutorials and I write down all of the questions that I'm going to come here in the discussion forum and ask you. But by the end of the tutorial, every single one of my questions have been answered.
Got answered. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being so thorough. Now, I know this is a total newbie question, and I know that you're not going to make me feel bad for having this question, but there's this one spot where you said you simply pull out the digital audio recorder and you said, and then you show the SD card and you said, now the next thing you do is insert the SD card. Unfortunately, you did not show on screen how to insert the SD card. Is there any way you could create a video that shows me how to do it? Because I can't figure out where this SD card goes in.
Mhm.
And that was the big hang up for this one person. And it's like, but anyway, I share all of that to say that when I did my 4-week huge program for $2,000, I did it by giving them access to all the tutorials. Most of the people who are more technically savvy, they would sign up for my $2,000 course and they wouldn't have a single question for me. Everything was answered.
Yeah.
And for those people, I got to actually chat with them about more important things in life and business and motivation and what
Sure.
they're going after and the kind of impact and help them overcome mindset issues. But anyway, that was a lot. What insights come up for you as I share all of that story when it comes to how to market a course?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think, after doing this for so long, I made the mistake by assuming that I knew what they needed, which may or may not have been the case. I mean, I've done pretty well on the course itself, but it's not cranking as I thought it would, because I think in my mind, I thought I knew what all the questions were.
Yeah.
And
So-
I mean, yeah.
So here's what I would do if I were in your scenario, Robert, is this. I would go to your next speaking gig. And when you get somebody that says, hey, are you available for one-on-one coaching? This is exactly what I'd say. I'd say, Robert, let me ask you this. If I was available for one-on-one coaching, tell me, what are the top 3 things you're struggling with the most that you think I could help you with? All right. And then if you say to me what your top 3 things are, and my course actually meets those needs, I'd give you the course for free. Say, here, I want to give you this course. It's available for free to you. It's something I plan on charging for, but I'm going to give it to you. And if you go through this and it solves those 3 things, or 1 or 2 of those 3 things, it's my gift to you. If after going through this course, you still have issues related to those 1, 2, or 3 things, reach out to me and we can talk about what it would look like for some one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, Cliff, that's an amazing insight for me. Thank you. Matter of fact, it's so funny because I was getting on my laptop this morning because I had someone reach out to me with a long email of questions and concerns. And I thought, I'm just going to grant her the free access to the course. But I think I'm going to take it the next step and do exactly what you did. Prior to that, let's just review what are the 3 things. I'm going to do that exact same thing.
I love that.
How much do I owe you, Cliff?
You don't owe me anything.
Well,
I'm
it was a
just here to
blessing
be
that
of
I was able
service.
to find you this morning.
Well, here I was just doing a simple technical test of a run. So back in the day, I used to host these "How May I Serve You? Ask Me Anything" rooms on Clubhouse, and I was looking to recreate a version of that for today's technology. And this has been just a test run for what I'm going to do from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. later this afternoon. Just to see
Beautiful.
how I can show up and be of support and encouragement to anyone about any topic. So
Yeah. Well, listen, aren't we all here to try to make a difference in someone's life?
if we can make somebody's day better and brighter, it's a good day, right?
It's a great day. Well, Cliff, I got to run, but hey, man, it was great. I mean, I've watched your videos. I've seen you over the last many years. So I think that this is this is not an accident. I bumped into you this morning.
Well, reach out to me anytime. I'm around.
All right. Thank you, Cliff.
See you, Robert.
See you, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, folks, I am going to go back to solo shot here. There we go. And let's see here. So we'll close that out. That was fun. Wow. So what turned out to be a tech kind of run through ended up having something powerful there at the end. Let's see here. I just want to give a shout out to Dan. I think I can actually do this. LinkedIn does not bring in live, let's see here. What are they called? Live comments. So let me see if I can just drag and drop this right here. There we are. So Dan Binstock said, let's see here. This is amazing. So Dan, thank you for that. I found a way of bringing in a LinkedIn thing here. So that's great. And then let's see here. Bob said something earlier. Cliff, you inspired, here, let me move this up here. You inspired me over the years too, like Robert, the Happy Diabetic. So there we go. And Robert is over there at happydiabetic.com. And I'm going to keep his website open so I can maybe follow up with him later and just say hello and thank him for coming. Let's see here. Where is my comments box? Let's move this window out of the way. Bob said, Cliff, you always share great insights that helps people. Thank you for that. And that's all my comments. So, guys, thank you for, oh, hold on. Let me get rid of the comment box there. I think we're good. Thank you for helping me test out the live stream here today. It is a success. I will be back from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time this afternoon on all of these platforms with a way to do all of this stuff live. I can't wait. Many blessings. Talk to you soon. And